35. Why is the Bermuda Triangle mysterious? I am not surprised or skeptical about geographical mysteries and phenomena because more than 20 years ago, I witnessed a miraculous sight on Sea Mountain in Zhangjiago City, Hebei Province. At that time, I was studying in Zhangjiago and liked to invite some classmates to go hiking on the mountain on Sundays. Once, we came to the half-slope of a mountain and saw 3 closely connected square caves with sides about 1 meter long, arranged side by side on the mountain. Curiosity naturally made us look into the caves. I don't remember the order in which we looked into the 3 caves, but I only remember that in one cave, there was a cold wind blowing directly at us, in another cave, drops of water fell into a small pool in the cave, and in the 3rd cave, there was neither wind nor water, but the cave was full of ice blocks and ice edges. We stood at the cave's edge, using our imagination to speculate how such a strange sight was formed. It was late spring and early summer at that time, and the ice in the cave should have melted long ago. Where did the ice come from? Moreover, why were there no ice in the other 2 caves that were tightly adjacent? What's more puzzling was where did the wind come from in the cave? With doubts in our minds, we went down the mountain and asked a local person as if we had discovered a new continent, "Do you know there are 3 strange caves on this mountain?" He laughed and replied, "Yes, I know. One is called the Wind Cave, the other is called the Water Cave, and the 3rd is called the Ice Cave. I knew about them since I was a child. This mountain is called Sea Mountain. If you kowtow in front of the cave, you will have sons in the future." Wow! It's amazing. Looking back, I wonder if my son is the result of those frequent kowtows at Sea Mountain. Sea Mountain seems to hold its own mysterious blessings, while Bermuda doesn't offer as much fortune. The Bermuda Triangle is called the Devil's Triangle, Death Triangle, Ship and Aircraft Graveyard, Black Hole of the Earth, and so on. So, what is Bermuda? What is the Bermuda Triangle? And why are there these terrifying nicknames? Bermuda is an archipelago of more than 360 islands located in the Pacific Ocean. The Bermuda Triangle refers to a triangular sea area that extends from Bermuda in the north to Puerto Rico in the south of the Caribbean Sea and west to the southern tip of the Florida Peninsula in the United States. The reason Bermuda is known as the Death Triangle is that ships and airplanes often mysteriously disappear in this area. Below, I have excerpted several reports for everyone to understand the mystery of Bermuda. How terrible and mysterious is the Bermuda Triangle? More than 500 years ago, the famous navigator Columbus had encountered a magical and terrifying natural phenomenon in the Bermuda Triangle. It was in 1500, Columbus's 4th trip to America, passing through the Bermuda Triangle in the Atlantic Ocean. One day, Columbus and his companions on board came out of the cabin and stood on the deck, enjoying the beautiful seascape here. At that time, the sky was clear, the wind was calm, and the sea surface like a mirror reflected the dazzling moonlight, and the waves stirred up by the bow of the ship looked like piles of snow-white pearls. The vast expanse of sea and sky, connected by water, made people feel soothed, relaxed, and in high spirit. Just when Columbus and his companions were intoxicated by the beautiful and charming sea views, suddenly the weather changed dramatically. In an instant, the sky darkened, the strong wind blew, and the sea water rolled up waves dozens of meters high, like water walls attacking the deck. At this moment, the sailing ship was like sailing in a canyon, almost unable to see the sun, violently tossing on the sea, and Columbus nervously commanded the sailors. They tried to stop at the nearest Florida coast. Although all the people on board worked together to turn the course, all the navigation instruments on board suddenly failed, and the sailors were dizzy. Unable to distinguish the direction, the sailing ship seemed like a wild horse out of control, no longer obeying the sailors' control, and could only drift. The people on board only hoped to keep the sailing ship safe and escape from the danger. Finally, after several days and nights of hard work, they were lucky to escape from the storm and everything returned to normal, and the ship sailed forward steadily. Columbus recorded this thrilling experience in his sailing log. Regarding the mysterious disappearance of ships and sailors in the Bermuda Triangle, the earliest recorded incident was in August 1840 when a French sailing ship called the Rosalie was found anchored in the waters near Bermuda. The ship had its sails up and was carrying intact cargo such as fruits and silks, but there was no trace of any crew members on board. The only living creature found was a starving canary. No one knows what happened to the crew or what caused the incident. In 1872, a similar incident occurred when a two-masted sailing ship called the Mary Celeste encountered trouble 100 nautical miles west of the Azores. The ship sent out a distress signal, and 11 days later, when it was discovered by others, there was no sign of any crew members. However, the dining table was set with bread, butter, and other delicious food. Some teacups were still filled with coffee and water, the clock was ticking, and a bottle of machine oil was found on the sewing machine. All of these indicated that the ship did not encounter any severe weather conditions. But how can these phenomena be explained? In December 1945, Captain Taylor led 14 pilots from the U.S. 19th Flight Squadron on a training flight with 5 Avenger torpedo bombers from the airport in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Taylor was an experienced pilot with 2,599 flying hours under his belt and should have had no problem completing such a training mission. However, when the squadron flew over the Bahamas base, suddenly received a call from Taylor, "My compass is not working. I am flying over land that is not connected." For the next 2 hours, radio communication was intermittent but showed that they were flying roughly north or east. At 4 p.m., the command post received another call from Captain Taylor, "I can't figure out my position, I don't know where I am." Then the radio signal became weaker until it fell silent. The command post realized that something was wrong and immediately dispatched a seaplane to search. Half an hour later, people on an oil tanker saw a fireball, and the seaplane had crashed. In just 6 hours, 6 planes and 15 pilots disappeared without a trace, leaving authorities puzzled. The military decided to conduct the largest search ever, involving 300 aircraft and 21 ships, including aircraft carriers. The search covered every inch of the sea from the Bermuda Triangle to the Gulf of Mexico, lasting for 5 days, but still no trace of the 6 planes was found. In 1935, the sailors on the Italian freighter Rex watched as the American sailing ship La Dorada was gradually swallowed by the waves. However, 5 days later, they saw with their own eyes that the sailing ship was miraculously floating on the sea again. Another prominent example is the disappearance of the USS Cyclops, a U.S. Navy auxiliary ship carrying manganese ore, in March 1918. The giant cargo ship had 309 sailors and was equipped with good radio equipment at the time, yet it vanished without sending any distress signals. In 1951, while searching for a missing military ship in this area, a Brazilian seaplane discovered a massive black object moving at an astonishing speed beneath the waters of the Bermuda Triangle. In February 1977, someone piloting a private seaplane over the Bermuda Triangle found that the compass needle was off by dozens of degrees, and the people eating on board noticed that their knives and forks had become bent. After leaving the area, they also discovered strong noise recorded on the tape of their tape recorder. A captain of the American Maritime Rescue Company once said that when he was passing through the Bermuda Triangle on a ship, the compass needle suddenly swung violently, and the diesel engine that was running suddenly lost power. The waves were turbulent, and there was thick fog all around the ship. He ordered the engineer to go full speed ahead, and finally broke through the thick fog. However, the waves outside this area were not big, and there was no fog. He said he had never seen anything like it before. In 1943, a Dr. Jussa, under the cooperation of the U.S. Navy, conducted an experiment using 2 powerful magnetic generators. After the generators were turned on, green smoke rose around the ship, and both the ship and the crew experienced some kind of stimulation. Some people recovered after treatment, but Jussa committed suicide afterwards. The result of the experiment was never published. In 1979, a joint expedition of American and French scientists discovered a huge underwater pyramid on the seabed of the Bermuda Triangle. According to photos taken by Charles Berlitz, honorary curator of the Miami Museum in the United States, this underwater pyramid is even larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. There are 2 black holes on the body of the pyramid, and seawater flows through them at high speed. The missing ships and planes all disappeared mysteriously without leaving any trace. Some crew members vanished without a trace, while the ship and other items remained intact. Why is this so? This dates back to 2 billion years ago, when the greatest creator sent many angels, super celestial beings and Buddhas, to Earth to create life forms other than humans. These angels built many life manufacturing laboratories, known as pyramids, on the 30° north and south latitudes along the Bermuda, Pacific, and Atlantic Oceans. After 500 million years of work, the projects were completed, and they withdrew from Earth. These areas were not seas at the time, but rather mild climate and spring-like land. In order to keep the secret, they treated these areas like children playing with mud, chefs kneading dough, sinking areas with pyramids to the bottom of the ocean, and raising the sea level to create land. The current continents were formed 1.5 billion years ago, and the Himalayas were also created at that time. Just as the pyramids in Egypt prevented others from entering, preventive measures were also taken in areas such as the Bermuda Triangle. As for the mysteries within, they can only be understood from the perspectives of space and time. Please refer to the Universe, Time and Space chapter.